again, beautiful artists, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Along with Skye. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Skye, and I post beginning level acrylic painting tutorials here on YouTube every Saturday. So make sure to hit subscribe so you can join the fun and paint along, and don't forget to hit that bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Alright, so we are fast approaching spring. In the coming weeks we're going to see all sorts of beautiful flowers and trees blossom and Mother Nature just explode with color. So this week's painting is a celebration of that. We're going to be doing a watering can bouquet. I have my 4 brushes that I use for most of my paintings here. So I have my large square brush, I have a medium-sized pointed brush, and then I have 2 different sizes for my detail brushes, one small and one extra small. Gonna get those in the water cup off the side of the screen. The colors that I'm going to be using for the background step, I have a little bit of red, a little bit of purple, fair amount of a cobalt blue, a little bit of a phthalo green, fair amount of white, just a tiny bit of black, and a little bit of yellow. If you'd like to see a full materials list with everything that you need to paint along, go ahead and check the description box below. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so we are going to start like how I start in many of my classes, which is with a horizon line, and that's going to create 2 different separate areas for us, and then we just come back and fill it in. So let's go ahead and grab our medium-sized brush for that, and I'm going to create a horizon line here that's going to be right where my beautiful lawn or grassy field meets the sky. So a little bit of green here, a little bit of yellow, and then a fair amount of white. So we want a fairly light line just in case we want to adjust it. So it's going to be a little bit lighter than the color that we'll use to fill in. And then I'm going to go up about 1/3 of the way. And we can just go ahead and let that green line be for a minute. And I'm going to now grab our largest brush and go into the sky. So I've got my big brush here. Gonna take a little bit of blue here off to the side and mix up a gorgeous light sky blue. Okay, and up here in the top corners on the right and left hand side, we are just going to start adding that beautiful light sky blue in what I call crazy brush strokes, very textured brush strokes. Keep your brush moving. Okay, beautiful. I'm leaving a couple of areas where I'm going to bring in a different color. I want to be careful not to bring too much green into my sky either, but we can cover that later with a blade of grass. Pull a little bit of blue in there. Wasn't meaning to do that. A little bit of white in some areas is going to look like some beautiful soft clouds. I'm going to bring just a tiny bit of black in. A little bit of black goes a long way. And just add a tiny bit of gray as well. Early spring is the feeling that I'm going for here today. Okay, just filling that whole top 2/3 in with these beautiful colors. I'm going to go right to the horizon line, but I'm just going to kind of gently lay some brush strokes along the line so that I don't blend it too much with the green. Beautiful. A little bit of sort of whitish gray. Okay, now I'm going to take a little sneak, tiny little smidgen of purple over here with some white to make a gorgeous lavender light purple. So pretty. I'm going to throw just a few brush strokes of that beautiful purple into my sky. Maybe it's a little tiny bit of sunrise still lighting up the sky. So pretty. And I'm gonna do the same thing with some red. I'm gonna sneak that in there and make a gorgeous light pink. Just like so. Yes, and just sneak that in a couple places as well. It's the beautiful morning pink clouds. I'm very much a morning person, so I often see gorgeous sunrises. Rinsing my brush just a little bit because I want to go in with just a little bit more white. And you just get to play around here in the sky until you get it where you want it to be. Couple little white brush strokes for some gentle clouds, and that's looking pretty good to me. All right, rinsing my brush well. So we're going to go down into our grass now. Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit of my green into this light green that I made before. That was a mixture of dark green here, my gorgeous phthalo, along with some bright yellow and some white as well. All right, gorgeous grass color, so pretty, so springtime. I love winter and fall, but when I see the blossoms start to come up and the trees start to turn gorgeous colors, bright pink blossoms, I can't help but smile. Even though I don't like summer, I get sort of the feeling like of Sunday scaries, where you're trying to enjoy your Sunday, but Monday's right around the corner. That's how I feel in the spring, because I feel like summer is right around the corner. So hot. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite season is. Okay, this is very nice and soft, beautiful colors. Let's go ahead and let this layer dry, and then we're gonna come back and add a whole bunch more. So I'll see everyone in a few. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a dry background and fresh colors on the piece of palette paper here. So I have a fair amount of my gorgeous phthalo green, a little bit of red and some more purple, some more black and white, and some yellow. I rinsed my brushes and got fresh water at break as well. Let's go ahead and jump right back in. All right, so we're gonna grab our second to smallest detail brush now. And what I'm gonna do first is sort of sketch out the shape of my gorgeous watering can now for this next step. Okay, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of green with a little bit of white, and I'm going to use this beautiful teal color to sketch out my shape. Okay, so we're going to start here. Let's go ahead and start at the base. So I'm going to do sort of a curved line here at the bottom, just like so. And along that same sort of parallel curve, I'm going to come up a few inches up into the sky. And I'm going to do another curved line. And then I'm going to turn that all the way into an oval. Just like so. Okay, then I'm going to connect my shapes here, just like so, to make the base of our watering can. All right, as we fill this in, we can adjust the shape a little bit. So don't worry too much if it's not looking quite how you like. You're gonna have a few options here to adjust the shape. Just like so. I feel like that might need to go a little bit more of a curve down like so. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Lovely. Okay, and now for the front sort of nozzle. So right here from this top area right in the sky, or in front of the sky rather, but up in this section here, we're going to have a little curved line that comes up into our nozzle, just like so. And then we're going to have sort of circular nozzle on the end. And then connecting that back to the body of the watering can. And then this is maybe the trickiest part. So we're going to come from the top here all the way to the side. And you might even want to trace it once before you actually add your color, like I did with my hand there. And we're just going to connect in a circular fashion, just like so. Okay, and we have now sort of the hard part over. We've created our shape, and that is quite significant. So let's go ahead and grab our medium-sized brush to fill in this larger part right here. So medium-sized brush here. Going to take in some more of my gorgeous phthalo green, my favorite color. And I'll mix in a little bit of yellow for a nice sort of dark sage green. And your watering can really can be whatever color you'd like. Okay, and then we're going to come out to the sketch line here, and this is one of your chances here to sort of finesse this shape. All right, every pass you make with the brush, you can kind of adjust and finesse. Just like so, bringing it out ever so slightly and just filling in that main shape here all the way out to the sketch line, covering up that sketch line. Always using a little bit of water in my paint to help it go nice and smooth. Okay. Just like so. A little bit of a flake of paint in there. There we go. Okay. Looking good. And then in the center as well, I'm going to bring that all the way up to that top curve, like so. Very good. Okay, just filling in this main section right now. Okay, and I have pretty good control with my medium-sized brush, but if you feel like you want to use a smaller brush, go ahead and try that as well, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. I'm going to grab a little bit of white now and just add some highlights right here in front. Up and down, just like so. And sort of start to blend them into the sides. A little bit too far down there. Okay, nice subtle, and then one more sort of brighter white layer like so. Sometimes when I'm blending, I like to rinse my brush and come in with a clean brush, almost like a tool, like a sponge, rather than, you know, paint applicator. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Just want to get a little bit of roundness. Okay. That was a little too light up there. Okay, that looks pretty good for now. Actually, I think I'm gonna do one more little clean white further down. Okay. And you can even throw a little shine mark around the corner there, however you like. Okay, and I am going to now downgrade to my second to smallest brush for some of these sections, and I want to sort of fill it in with that base color again. Same kind of idea as that section that we just filled in, where we're just filling in our shape, and then we'll come back and add a little bit of highlights. And then we're gonna add some shadows here in a minute as well. Okay, and just filling in that shape with our green or whatever color we'd like for our watering can. Super cute, little bit of a flared shape there, adorable. Okay, and back here we're going to do a darker green inside the bucket, just like so. So that it's a little bit noticeable of a color difference, a little bit darker. Okay, looks good. Gonna grab a tiny bit of white and just throw a couple highlights there on the other side as well. Perfect. Okay, and maybe even a little kind of on the rim there. Okay, and then I'm going to come back over my handle and trying to make that arc as graceful as I can. Looking good. Relatively slim brush stroke. I think I might thicken it up a little bit. Always starting a little bit smaller than I think I'm going to. That way you can kind of adjust it as you make it bigger, but it's much harder to make it smaller. Okay. A little bit thicker all along the circle. Graceful lines here. I love these watering cans that have this kind of handle, even though it's a little bit tricky to paint. Okay, I'm gonna grab some white now. I'm going to highlight the kind of outermost edge here, and the brush stroke will kind of push it into the center as well, and that is just fine. Just creating a little highlight, like so, sort of on the outside edge there. Okay, and here we're going to have the highlight here in the center, like so, and then along the face of that little oval shape. Okay, lovely. Okay, let's add a little bit of shadows now. I'm going to take this same green that's already been mixed with some white, and I'm going to bring in a pinch of black. Not all the way to black though, so just a dark green, like so. Okay, and we're going to start shadowing a couple areas kind of here and there. Gonna start by sort of outlining the nozzle here in this area, just like so. Very good. A little bit there where the sort of parts of the watering can meet. along the bottom here. Sort of an outline, sort of cleaning up that shape a little bit, adding a shadow. Nice. A little bit of shadow where the parts meet on this side. Okay. Very good. I'm gonna go even a tiny bit darker now inside the watering can, just from either side here, and just sort of pull it across gently. A little bit in there as well. Okay, that looks good. And then on the inside here of the handle, gonna add a swipe of that dark green as well. We went a little bit thick there. That's okay, we'll place a strategic flower there later. All little whoopses can be easily adjusted with strategic placement of blades of grass and flowers later. Okay, I'm going to do a couple little just decorative stripes now as well. Right through sort of upper section here. And I want to keep that curve as well, very important. So those would be like little indentations, little decorative stripes. So they might have a little bit of a highlight to them as well. Right along the top like so. Okay, we're looking pretty good with our watering can. I think I need a little bit of highlights here along the top, and maybe a little bit right along that rim. And now that this area is more dry down here, if you want, you can add a little bit of like a lighter white to some of these areas if you want. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think a little bit of a highlight here. That was definitely a tricky shape, but it's kind of our main focus here, so it took a minute. Took a hot minute. Let's go ahead now and we're going to do our grass all the way around, and then we'll come back to our watering can and add our flowers and our final touches. So I'm going to use that same size brush because I feel really comfortable with it. And I'm going to mix up a grass green, and this green, you want it to be significantly different color than your bucket. So this looks pretty good to me, maybe a little bit more yellow. Okay, just like so. And for the brush strokes around the bucket itself, I'm gonna go a little bit lighter here so you guys can see. We're gonna have pretty big blades of grass, but then as we work our way up, we're going to have smaller and smaller brush strokes. Okay, so I'm going to start with the big ones around our watering can that you can like visually see. Just like so. Maybe some blades are especially long and some are not quite so long. Okay, this is going to be one of the more time-consuming steps. So take your time and enjoy. We're going to have lots of brush strokes now. So this mid-ground, right around where our watering can is, we're going to have pretty good sized brush strokes, and it's okay that it's the same color as the background. That's kind of what we want, but we actually want to start having all kinds of brush strokes and textures and shades of green visible here in our grass rather than that solid green layer that we did before. little bit of phthalo in here as well. Just trying to make sure that green is a little bit different. There we go. But there's kind of variations of color in my background too, so that's good. Just bear with me and bear with yourself. We're going to have a lot of tones of green here, and then as we get further up, we're going to have much smaller little brush strokes. There we go. Now you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Very small brush strokes at the top, and then working your way down, they're going to get a little bit bigger, row by row, just like so. And I know that's subtle. I'll take a little bit of green over here and make a really vibrant green maybe, and play with that as well. It's okay to have different tones, but just making sure that we keep our brush strokes longer in the front and shorter in the back, coming right off the edge of the canvas there. Okay, so that section is starting to look a little bit better. Okay, comes together quickly. Let's grab a little bit of green again. And we're going to make a shadow color. I'm really just going to bring in the smallest little amount of black. Boop. I don't want to go too dark here, mostly green. A little bit of water. There we go. Nice vibrant shadow color here. And we're going to just start adding that. And that can kind of be a shadow in some of your existing brush strokes, or it could just be kind of filling in that extra space that you have here. Okay. Little tiny brush strokes up top here. Every which way. Try not to create too much of a pattern. Keep things random. That's starting to look really nice. A lot more like grass there. All right. And longer brush strokes towards the bottom. Nice different variations of green. Because grass isn't consistent, right? There's areas that are a little bit more yellow, areas that are a little bit shorter, but overall, it's pretty consistent. So that's what we're going for here right now. Okay, I've got to make sure we get all those little areas addressed with that shadow color as well. Very nice. So we look like we have our watering can sitting in the grass, just like so. Very pretty. I like it. Okay, you can add a little bit of a highlight color too if you'd like, but I kind of like where my colors are right now. But if you want, you can come in with even a little bit more variation here and there. I have a very light green right now. Okay, and it kind of blends things too. That looks really nice. Okay, yeah, just a little bit more of a highlight, and that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna work my way over to the other side and repeat that exact same process. So I'm going to start with a nice kind of basic green, mid-level, about like so, and repeat that whole process. Little tiny brush strokes along the horizon, and make sure you don't go over your watering can. Just like so in that whole little area. Okay, and just working your way down, however you'd like to do it. There's really no right or wrong way to get these sections filled in. Just let it go and let it flow. Very good meditation. This will be the perfect painting, I think, for paint parties or special spring events. Okay, looking good. Getting that area nice and textured, just like my other side. Look at all those great brush strokes. Just like so. All the way off the edge, just like the other side. Great. Okay, I'm gonna come in now with a shadow color. Almost done, folks, with the grass and the watering can home stretch. Believe it or not, the flowers, I think, are easier, personally. Very pretty. And just try my best to match it with the other side. Okay. Nice shadows all along our little watering can where it touches the grass. Very cute. Poking out of the grass like that. And very soon, this person will have to mow their lawn. Okay. And I have a little less variation in this area, so I'm gonna probably add a little bit of highlights over here as well. Looks cute. A little bit. I like to use white and yellow when I'm highlighting on green. Very nice. And just kind of makes everything consistent, makes that whole area look very interesting. Lots of different tones and lots of different directions that those brush strokes are going in. Okay, great, fantastic. All right, and then back up into our watering can. Just a few more steps, folks. Everyone, deep breath, home stretch here. You're doing fantastic. Let's grab our phthalo green. We're gonna do a little bit of greenery before we add our flowers. So this should be a slightly different tone of green than your grass that you were working with. Similar to your bucket color. I think I'm gonna go a little bit lighter than that so I can see the difference. Okay, that's fine for a base color to start with this teal, and I'm going to come out in a couple different directions, and I'm going to add some beautiful leaves that go along with our tulips. So some greenery. I'm gonna go right back there. I'm gonna add one to the other side. Maybe these two are here in front, and then maybe you have one that's going backwards as well. That goes behind this handle. Okay, so creating a little bit of interest there going on both sides of our handle. And this part's fun because you get to kind of create your own little bouquet. Okay, so we have 2 or 3 little areas here with our gorgeous green leaves. I'm going to grab a little bit of kind of like a grass green and add a quick highlight, different color on there. So that's my yellow and white together. Okay, good, rinsing my brush. And then I'm going to bring a little highlight in, even lighter, just like a super light yellow. as a pretty little highlight. Very nice, very subtle. Okay, looks good. Okay, so I'm going to have my white flower kind of dead center here, but I might need to now let that green dry. So I'm going to do a white circle here just to remind me that that's where my flower is going to go as I'm building my composition here. But I'm going to grab now some pink, which is going to be just red and white together. And I'm going to now also create my beautiful tulips. Okay, so my white flower is going to go right there, and that's going to be pretty good size. So let's go all the way up here for our tulip, for our pink tulip, like so. I think I'll have one up there. And then let's see, yeah, one right next door as well. 2 tulips on this side, and actually I'm going to do a purple tulip on the other side. So let's do 2 pink like so, and I'm going to fill them in like so, and then have another little ridge there in the middle and get a shape like a Pac-Man with a extra triangle inside. And I'm gonna fill this one in the same. Bringing those curved lines down for our beautiful petals. Cute. Okay, those are going to need connecting lines too for the stems. So grabbing that same color as the leaves right next door to our tulips. Look at how cute those are looking. Love it. Okay, going to grab now a little bit of purple. I'm going to do a purple tulip as well. So similar color, similar layout here. Coming off this direction. Love that. How pretty. Okay. And I am pulling a little bit of green in there, which I don't want to do. So I'm trying to get that filled in with purple now, but we'll come back in just a minute and finish those tulip shapes off. We can go ahead and just sort of let them dry for a minute right now. I'm going to grab some pink again, but I'm going to go lighter than my tulips. Oops, it looks like I'm not having a very clean white anymore. In fact, I think I need some new clean white. So one moment. Alrighty, there we go. Alrighty, there we go. Much better. Needed a little bit more clean white there. So I'm going to take a very, very, very light pink. Nice, pretty soft pink, lighter than the pink of my tulips. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, and I'm going to do one more little kind of blossom area, and these are going to be sort of like little blobs that meet in the center. So there's 4 little directions that I'm going in, and I'm just going to start up top there, and I'm going to fill that in, working my way down until I get into the watering can. And these are like a branch of blossoms that we put in our beautiful bouquet. Again, I'm blending a little bit of green. I don't like that. Okay, and then I have where my white flower is going to be as well. And I think I'm going to add just a few more areas of just a little bit more greenery. So I'm going to grab a light yellowy green. And I'm going to do a few little leaves kind of sticking out here and there as well. Maybe on this side as well. Gotta always fill out your bouquet with a little bit of greens. So different color, and then maybe I have some brush strokes like so for a slightly different shape. Grabbed some white there just to make it a little bit lighter. Okay. Very nice, I like that. Okay, and then we have space for our white flower here too, but we're gonna do that in just a minute. So let's go ahead and let this layer dry too, and we'll come back and add our very final details. I'll see everyone in just a minute. Okay, we're back for final touches. Just wanted to give that a minute to dry because I'm going in with white. So I have a clean brush here, same sort of second to smallest brush. And I'm going to come in here to my white circle that I've created for myself. And I'm going to go out in every direction to make my lovely petals. Just like so. Now I'm easily covering the green, as you can see. Just like so, super simple. Little curved brush strokes that meet each other. However many petals you end up with is just fine. Okay, just like so, all different directions. Lovely. And we've given ourselves enough space for the tulips to not be covered, so that looks great. I'm going to grab a little green here. A little bit of water there. And I think I'll go a little bit darker. And I'm going to do green center for my white flower. Just like so, very nice. Okay, this is looking very cute. I'm going to do a few more things with this second to smallest brush, and then we'll do a few little details with our detail brush. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm going to go into my tulips now. And I have this nice super light pink already ready. And I'm going to add a few brush strokes along the front here as a nice highlight. And another second layer of pink over any areas that might be a little bit greenish or not fully covered. Okay, and then I'm going to do quick little highlights on the back areas as well. So on those little triangles, some little highlights, and then some highlights through the front as well. Okay, that's looking good. Very cute. And now some red for some shadows. I'm going to go along the top parts here and have a nice bright red along the top and sort of along the bottom as well. Okay, and I sort of outline it, but it's also sort of a shadow too, so I'll add a couple brush strokes kind of here and there in the flower also. Never want to go too outliney. Just some tones, different tones here. This keeps getting bigger. That's all right, just using a little bit of another color to help me blend. Okay, that looks good. In the centers here of my cute little pink flowers, I'm going to do a little red center. Just like so, super pretty, lovely little details. And then into our purple, same idea as our pink. So some very light purple to start. A little bit lighter. Gorgeous Easter pastels. Okay, and just a few little brush strokes of a highlight and a few of a nice shadow color. Little bit of blending. Okay, I like that. That's very cute. Okay, gonna grab a little bit of a dark green real quick and do a quick little stem for these little green guys. And a few little quick brush strokes outwards. Kind of want to fix that too. Okay, looking super cute. Let's see. I think a little bit of a super duper light pink too on some of these pink blossoms, if you'd like, is a nice little additional touch as well. Nice little highlight there. Okay. Very pretty. Okay. And with just a little bit of white as it is, a couple very bold highlights are nice as well. Okay, super cute. I like it. I'm gonna grab my smallest brush now for the final details. And I'm very delicately going to grab a little bit of red and yellow and mix it together to make an orange. I got a little green in there too. Don't want green, just orange. There we go. Nice and vibrant. Very pretty. I'm going to take this teeny tiny brush and I'm going to go around my little green center of my white flower. Super cute. I think that orange is a nice touch too. I think we needed it to complete the rainbow effect. Okay, and now just a tiny bit of black here and there, and we are almost done. I'm going to take a little bit of black on my smallest brush. I'm going to just quickly go around the center here. Very pretty. And along the outside edges, I just have the smallest little brush in the world here for this. You don't want anything besides just a little bit of shadow, little tiny outline. Just like so on either side. Very small details. And then a few sort of coming from the center and in between. Like so. Maybe showing the definition between a few petals. Bringing it in as gray a little bit. Okay. And then inside that flower, I'm going to do a few little dots of yellow. This brush always seems to carry drips really bad. That's why I tend to use the second to smallest one, I think, a little more often. Okay, trying to bring some yellow dots in there. Okay, there we go. For a little bit of definition, and you can bring some black in any other places that you like. Maybe very gently outlining some of these flowers here inside and around. Just like so. Very light step with the black just around the centers and outside edges here. A little bit here and there. Very sketchy look. Very cute, I like it. Go right along the top of my tulips. Kind of leaving certain areas unfinished though, for that sort of sketchy look. All right. I think we're looking pretty good. A little bit more definition in there. And with that tiny brush, a couple little dots here in our watering can, little nozzle. Perfect. Super cute. A couple little black dots inside of our cherry blossoms. Just like so. Okay, and then a little bit darker of a shadow on either side here. And maybe a few places along our watering can as well for a final little piece de la resistance. But that is looking good. Okay. Let me know what you thought of today's painting in the comments section below. If you've painted along, I would love to see your work, and I've created a Facebook group called the Art Club for that very purpose. Artists of all ages and skill levels are there sharing their work. It's a very supportive community. We'd love to have you join us over there. You can also now find a special section of Paint Along with Skye on PaintingTube. It's also a great resource for intermediate and advanced level paintings. And that is all that I have for it this week. So until next time, stay creative.